Listen, guys, before we dive in today, I want to talk about something. So it's so much like, for me to go into the coach and help people, a lot of people ask, it's a constant question. People are always like, why does a guy like you do this, right? Well, one, I love coaching people. I'm a natural coach. I've been coaching people for 30 years. But it's also part of my growth and development. I would have never been able to achieve the things in the amount of time or overcome the obstacles or challenges or setbacks or losses if I didn't have some amazing coaches and mentors along the way, right? So one of the things is I looked up to these people, and I always wanted the financial freedom to be able to go ahead and do what I wanted to do. And once I was able to do it and live the life that I wanted to live for my family, I knew that I could go ahead and I could ultimately work with like-minded people and work with other entrepreneurs and help them. So it's kind of a way for me to pay it forward. But inadvertently, it was also another way for me to stay sharp, because a lot of times as you're doing these things and you climb these levels, you forget about how valuable this information is. So a lot of times as I go back and I reflect and I see what it is, I realize really fast that I need to go back and sharpen these things up too. And I go back and start working with my leaders and the companies that I have and go back in and see them. So I had a private client come in. I was coaching with them last week, and this is going to be really crazy for my own thing, just to show you how it works. I was going through the rundown. I was like, wait a second. When's the last time I went through this rundown on these companies? So I went through the rundown on our companies, and we literally flipped the numbers by $100,000 a month in our own companies. This is just like literally in the past 48 hours what we did. So we literally went in, looked at the structures, realized what we did. Boom. It wasn't some big fast thing. It was a fast implementation. So my point is not to talk about what I got, but my point is to talk about what I really got. I would have not got that had I not been going in and coaching and mentored. It just kind of required me to take my own principles, my own philosophies, and the things that I teach, and to come back in and do it. So I just want to give you guys that framework. So I'm really grateful to have the people that help. I'm really grateful to show up and give up free value today and help people for what it is. We got people on the call. I want everybody to know right now, there's people on the call right now that have created amazing things and created transformations in their business and broke records that never happened before. And I've been fortunate enough to have the privilege and the opportunity, not just to do that, but the other thing is there's been so much more that in the process of using these businesses, I was talking to some gentlemen today, these businesses are so much more than just businesses in a lot of cases. They're intertwined with the family. They're so vital to the family unit. They bring families together. They give families hope and inspiration. They create generational change forever in families. And when you go in there, you know, there's love and loss and tragedy and all these things balled up in these businesses. So it's so magical because we have a family business. It's myself, it's my brothers, it's my son, it's nephews, it's cousins, it's everybody involved in the business that makes it so magical, right? So one of the things that I want to go ahead and talk to you guys about today, and it's different whichever industry, right? But I want you to really think about this, because a lot of people sit around and remember something. I want you guys to write this down. I want you to be in here. Hey guys, how you doing? My name's Joey Battista. I'm an active 9-figure entrepreneur. Listen, inside this video, I'm going to share with you the tips and tricks, the real life examples that I use growing and scaling companies today. Listen, I'm not an influencer. I'm an entrepreneur with a passion for sharing what I've learned over the last 3 decades, and it's a privilege for me to share it with you here today. In order to learn something, you have to go practice it and actually do it. So if you're walking around with knowledge and you're not practicing, you don't get credit for knowing it. One of the things, there's one to two types of people that I see all the time when I'm coaching in business. There's the people that come in, for example, and I'm not going in here to brag, I'm giving celebrations up. I'm really giving credit and having the amazing opportunity that I've had as a coach or a mentor. I had a private client come in last week, about $170,000 we made in 6 days in his business. Simply going in there and looking at it and seeing what it is. So my point is, but now here's the thing. He happened to be the one. He was the one that came in and said, I'm going to be the most coachable. I'm going to be the best implementer. Now, I had other people say that and not follow through on it. They saw a shiny object come through. They saw something new come along. They saw the new car. They saw something coming through that got them distracted. See, life in business is about a game of distraction. It's not about a game of distraction, but the people that aren't conquering and aren't dominating and playing the thing. See, business is not checkers, it is chess, and that's the beauty of it. It's the beauty of it, because the reality is checkers are very straightforward, but chess, there's a lot of different avenues you can go with. And that's how business is, and that's what we're going to talk about today, right? So scaling your business, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about raising sales price. Why scale, right? If you engineer, now remember something. Here's the thing. Most people, I want to give you guys some game. If you're a brick and mortar entrepreneur, this is the cycle for 100 out of 100 entrepreneurs that didn't have somebody in their family, or they didn't have a coach, mentor, somehow, some way, somebody had a proven blueprint. Let me give you the reverse. Let me tell you what usually happens. Almost 100 for 100. Is they go in the entrepreneur scales to 1 or 2 locations, and then eventually, once it gets bigger than what they didn't engineer their business correctly, now they grow and they make the same, and then they grow and then they make less, and then now all of a sudden they're doing 3, 4, 5 times the work, and they're barely getting by. This is the cycle of every entrepreneur. One of 2 things happens from here. You either learn, now you could have learned them proactively and you could have grown and scaled without disruption, or you go backwards and you retract. Now, if you go off of grit and wherewithal and drive and tenacity, you recoup your cash and you go back and you try again. The problem with that is you will eventually get there, but it may take you 10 or 20 or 30 years if you don't engineer your business. If you engineer your business correctly, as you scale, life gets better, you bring in more talented people, and you begin to take more time off the table. Write that down. If you're scaling successfully, you're taking time off the table once you've made it through the initial phases, once you've built the infrastructure. Scalable businesses grow without having necessarily the cost proportional. Like a lot of times once you're scaled and you've centralized operations, you've created efficiencies, you've implemented AI tools that allow you to scale and reduce headcount. Once you've done these things, and you should be implementing them across all avenues, off all key facets of your business. Once you've implemented these things, you can go in and continue to grow revenue. Rely on, and then obviously, look, they rely on flexible systems, talented teams, and documented processes. That's why we document. We document so we can scale up and scale fast, and we don't have to keep repeating ourselves. There's a new generation of entrepreneur and worker out here. And they learn very fast, and the good ones execute at a high level if it's documented and communicated. That's not always possible, but that's part of what you're working on. When you're building a new initiative, you're going to go ahead and you're going to do that. If you're new in business or you're doing that, but at a certain point, you have to be able to do that. And the thing is, a good process or a good system is duplicatable, and it works there, right? So here's the thing. Scalability lets you take on more customers, boost revenue, and improve customer experience. You have to obsess over customer experience. Doesn't matter if the customer's right or wrong. Customer's always right. They're giving you their money. Let's call it what it is. They're giving you their money. See, we get into this moral issue sometimes with customers right or wrong. Doesn't matter. How can we fulfill better? What did we do wrong? It prepares you to adapt to market changes and new opportunities. So we're going to talk about these 3 things, guys. So here's the thing. 1, you can increase your sales. You need a good strategy. You need to go ahead. You need to increase your sales. You can go ahead. You can look at your sales funnel, your drop-off points. For those of you that are running different things like where are you at, where are they at in the cycle, where are you losing conversions? That's the big thing. You have to know where you're losing conversions. When you become the architect, you know where you're losing conversions. You got to empower your sales team with training and recognition. What recognition do you have in place, right? So this is what we're talking about here. You talk about raising sales, awareness, interest, consideration, intent, purchase. You may not be in a business where you can raise your sales, or you may not be the wisest thing to move your sales. Maybe moving your sales requires you to move headcount too much, or requires you to do too many, advertise too much. Maybe you're struggling to be profitable, and raising sales will be nice, but it's not the priority right now. There's a better way to go there. So that's one way to scale is by raising your sales, right? And at some point in time in the life cycle, you're going to use all 3 of these, right? So here's another thing. Review pricing. Review pricing strategies to regularly align value with your profitability. Most people are dated in their pricing. Hey guys, if you found value in this video, share it with somebody in need. Listen, these videos are a series all brought together that can teach you the real life example. So if you liked it, follow the other video. Most people are dated in their pricing in most industries. They're not competitive, right? If you're going in there in the marketplace and setting it like in the automotive space, that's pricing of one thing, but there's a whole lot of other things, right? How are you reviewing that? How are you looking at your pricing? And what additional options do you have? So we talk about, strategy 2, raise your prices, right? That's the other one. Raise your prices. Where can you raise your prices? Where can you strategically raise your prices? How can you go after the unassumed buyer to get a higher profit? Where can you raise your prices? Have you done any market analysis to know what you're on? You gotta realize, I started in the automotive space, razor thin profit margins. That becomes more of a game of add-ons. What are your conversions? Like, my question would be to those of you in the automotive space, any of you on here today, I would say to you is, what percentage are you getting your upsells at, and how are you benchmarking it, and how do you know where to hit those numbers at? So you're identifying opportunities so you know where to put your time. Most people are shooting from the hip. That's why they can't scale. That's why you see 30 years, same thing. They never scale. They never graduate to the next level, right? So raise prices. Be transparent. Clearly call it a price increase. It is what it is. I have a very simple philosophy in coaching. I give up 10 times the value when somebody spends money with me. When it goes past 10 times the value, I raise my price. It's that simple. If I can give them 10 times the value for the money that they've given me, once I exceeded 10 times in value, because that's lifetime value, to be repeated. So I give them an annualized value, and once I've given them 10 times the value, then I can raise my prices. And I should raise them, because I'm selling time. I only have so much I can give. So the reality is once again, you want to make $1 million, give up $10 million in value. If you give up $20 million in value, your prices are too low. You need to raise your prices. So that's one of the biggest things. And then obviously you look at owner reward, we're looking here, inform customers early, reward loyalty, right? We talk about that, of price increases. If you're giving up good value and you're doing what you say you do, you can always do it. Don't over-explain. That's the big thing. You just give a real simple reason. It is what it is. Like mine is, I only have so much time. I'm scaling my business. This is what it is. That's what I tell a lot of people that coach with me now. Get it. And even now that I've already begun raising my prices, right? People that got in with me before, that got in me early, got in with me because the reality is I have more clients and the market bears more for it, right? The market bears more. So this isn't about me. I'm sharing my lessons. Once again, this is about me sharing what I've learned and my journey with you, so you don't have to go through it. So I love to help people. I want to help you. I really do. I look forward to helping people out at a high level. But I want to work with people that want to win. I would advise you, if you're having businesses and you have companies, to do the same thing. I do not want anybody's failed ideology cascaded on me. Neither should you. I'm literally at the absolute best point in my life. I'm creating radical changes, total transformations for the people that I work with. Like, it's just undeniably the truth. It's happening. It's not some Ponzi scheme. It's really happening. And the reality is because somebody shows up with their lack, and this is what you're going to notice in your businesses. And when you're looking, and the reason why I say this once again, let me tell you why I'm saying this. I'm saying this because when you go in here, like, I can't raise my prices, I can't increase my sales. If you can't do any of these things, then what can you do if you want help in your business? This is just something that you have to look at. You have to figure out how you can. And I would sit down and go have a conversation, an intelligent one, based off somebody that was very passionate about growing their business and somebody that's actually doing the work and somebody that's showing up day in and day out, and I'll raise your belief system. Let me sum it up. Raise prices or increase buying pattern. How do I increase the frequency of which they buy from me? Right? We talk about loyalty programs and subscription models, but how can I increase the frequency of which they buy from me? And I'll give you something. I'll go in here just to give you guys, like, it doesn't matter what it is. And once again, we can say automotive because automotive is the hardest. You can do it in automotive. You can do it in anything. It's like literally, it's automotive is the hardest. People are like, oh, how do you do it? Well, that's the whole idea of a new car franchise, right? Sales to service, service back to sales. Sales to service, service back to sales. How do you immediately scale your business if you want to do that? Well, you just go start working the service lane and you start bringing the people back into the buying pattern sooner, right? And I use that as an example because, like a lot of you got to find a way to upgrade your customers. Your job is to find ways. Your customers are spending money doing business everywhere all the time. What are they buying that you're specifically good at, or what service you can? So those are the three things you should write down, because there is no other way to scale. You're either going to have to raise your scale. Now, how you get there through acquisition. You can get there. But if you go get there through acquisition and you haven't optimized, that's how it is. And a lot of you heard me talk about it. If you don't optimize the business in front of you, the next opportunity, you're just going to piss it away anyways. It's just what it is. Like you're going to go in and you think this new opportunity is going to make you a great operator, but really you're just walking around faking it and you're a poser because you never actually went in and went under construction and said, hey man, I want to be the very best at what I do, right? I want to be a good father. I want to be a good husband. I want to be a good wife. I want to be a good leader, a great leader. I want to be a great entrepreneur. And then went in and got the information, and instead of saying you know the information, going in and acting on it. So that's one of the things I try to do here today is to help people unlock their limiting belief. Like, what belief do you have that you keep showing up in your business or in your life personally? Those of you that aren't in there, what limiting belief do you have? See, because we look for clues. I can't raise my prices. Good, then lower them. Let me know how that works out for you. I can't increase my sales. Well, good, decrease them. Let me know how that works out for you. See, if you're not fighting to go up, it's just natural decline. It's a constant all-out prize fight. You know, being an entrepreneur is one of the toughest and most rewarding things. What else can you do that'll give you total financial freedom? Turn around and bring families together and rip them apart and put them back together and take them to plateaus they never achieved in their life without them. It challenges you constantly and requires you to reinvent yourself, or you sell your business or exit your business for pennies on the dollar. That's what happens. That's the result of it. But you guys are special, and I'm going to tell you why you're special. Because you're hopping on the calls and you're taking time to do this. So inside you know you're called for more. Inside you know you want more. You want to do more. It's really happening. It's the ability of the operator to get past, and here's the thing, it's the ability of the operator to get past their limiting belief, and then once they get past that limiting belief and they take action, and listen, it takes work. Like, you know, listen, most people came in, I want you to understand something, okay? Imagine this for a second. Tell me, for those of you that haven't worked for me, it's not fair for those of you that have, but for those of you that haven't worked for me, my question would be this: what's your $1 million opportunity? Like, spell your $1 million opportunity out for you. Just imagine. Forget about anything else. Let's say you didn't make a penny. Just think if you had a plan that said, oh my God, there's $1 million in front of me. And if I do half the work, I can have half of it. If I do 10% of the work, I can have 10% of it. If I do 30% of the work, I can have 30% of it. So here's the thing. You never wait on nobody. You just take math. We live in the world today. If you're like, hey man, how do I feed, clothe, and bathe? And how do I feed, clothe, and bathe a zebra? We can literally, and then you can literally even go and get more detailed on what kind of zebra, and you can learn in like 7 minutes. I can be a zebra master in 7 minutes. All right, guys, anyways, listen, man, I really appreciate you showing up. Great call. Hope everybody got a tons of value. Listen, you guys, go out and kick some ass this week. Have a great week. The world's yours. You can have everything that you desire. Don't get weak. Don't get lazy. Be positive. Keep showing up. Doesn't matter what it feels like. Win, win, win. I love you. I'll see you next week. Hey guys, if you found value in the video today and you'd like to see more of them, like, subscribe, or share now.